Before we start here, the colors that we will use: mineral violet, indigo, sap green, burnt umber, and also white gouache. Okay, so for this project, we're going to paint a flower that was inspired by anemones. And this is just a beautiful flower. You have nice soft petals with a nice dark center. In this project, we're also going to learn how to layer the petals. So let's watch the process video. Let's start with concentrated dots, and then with a clean brush, I'm going to paint some nice loose strokes that will serve as the petal. I'm not adding a lot of paint here. It's mostly just water, and I'm just grabbing the color from the center. Okay, it looks a little bit messy now, but it's going to come together later on when we layer it. Okay, so I just added a dark center, and next we're gonna add the stem. Okay, here's the exciting part. We're going to layer the petals. So we're going to paint alternate petals, so you can see that they're not all beside each other. And this is going to give us a nice soft look. And for the center, we can add some gouache. I'm going to add some small dots that will give it more depth. And this will create the magic for this flower. Okay, so I hope that you're excited. Let's start. The first color that we need is mineral violet. So we want a really thick mixture because this is going to be used for the center of the anemone. Feel free to use other colors as well. So I'm going to use a size 6 round brush and put a ring of small dots. But you also want to put spaces in between your dots. So we want nice juicy dots, so it has to be really wet so that we can grab the paint later on, and you're going to understand that as we add the petals. So just put some small dots. If you want to be more adventurous, you can actually put different colors for the dots. So I'm going to use my size 8 round brush and get a lot of water. Just use the tip of your brush and lightly touch the dot, and just try to sweep your brush onto the paper. Really press it against the paper to make broad strokes. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back and forth and even wiggle my brush to create soft petals. Again, just use the tip of the brush to lightly touch the dot. We're not going to grab the entire dot. Alright, you can grab some more water and just really press your brush onto the paper and move it up and down to create these nice, beautiful petals. Using the tip of your brush, you can try to wiggle it, create some jagged edge. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some more color from the center and just try to move around the color as well. We can grab some more paint and create some swift strokes just to separate some of the petals. Use the tip of your brush to just add some small strokes towards the tips of the petals. Okay, so let's grab a darker paint. This is still mineral violet. I'm going to add it in the center and just let it bleed into the petals. And that will give it a punch of color in the middle, just like how an anemone looks like. And I'm also going to put a small circle in the center. So we don't really need to put like all the details. This is just a loose interpretation of an anemone. And I'm going to grab some indigo to give it a darker color. So we're just going to let that color spread in the center going out. And we want the outer petals to still look soft and light. Okay, let's go to the stem. I'm going to grab a sap green and mix it with burnt umber to create this earthy green color. It's my go-to mixture for greens, but this time we're going to add a little bit of that mineral violet. So it's always nice to add the color of the flower to the green leaves or stems. Okay, so we're just paint a stem here that's a little bit curved. Let me rinse my brush and just soften the bottom part. So I also love doing this technique because it just gives it a more 3D look. So when the petals are already dry, we can add a second layer. This is roughly the same mixture that we use for the first layer. We're going to paint alternate petals. So the petals here are not beside each other. You can see that there's a huge space between them. Okay, this is what it looks like on top view. Just try to sweep your brush onto the paper to create those broad strokes. I'm going to extend some of the petals and make it a little bit longer than the first layer. So this technique will give a nice soft look to the flower. So you can see that it has more depth now that we added the second layer. I'm going to do some jagged edges using the tip of my brush. Try to wiggle your brush. Now for the center, let's grab some more of that indigo just to give it a darker center. Just put some small dots. Okay, so I have here some white gouache. So you're going to add some small dots just to add more depth. And this is like the same details that you can see in an anemone flower. I'm going to put it around the center. It's best to add this white gouache when the entire flower is already dry. The center is still a little bit wet, so you can see that even if I put white gouache, it's not going to pop up. It's just going to mix with the wet center. Okay, so we can add some more finishing touches. So you can definitely apply the techniques here to painting other flowers as well. Okay, so we're done with this project.